Welcome to this presentation on the John Evans Estate located in the White Clay Creek Preserve. This preserve is part of a major tri-state park system that encompasses over 13,000 acres that are interconnected with numerous trails within Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. All three parks had their start with the DuPont family. This story starts in the late 1600s. Native Americans have lived in Chester County and London Britton Township for over 13,000 years. The earliest inhabitants in the area were the Lenni-Lenapes. In the White Clay Creek Valley, there were two settlements, Indiantown and a smaller summer camp known as the Mini Site. This would mean the John Evans family and the Welsh Baptist community surely coexisted with the Lenni-Lenape people. The sites were excavated in the 1950s and in 2005. Important artifacts have been uncovered and housed at both the University of Delaware and the Pennsylvania state capitol. In March 1681, King Charles II met with William Penn to settle a debt that the king had with William Penn's father. Having never been in the New World, the king used a map similar to this to give William Penn land that would settle the debt. William Penn got on a boat and arrived in the New World in 1682 and established contact with the Lenni-Lenapes and had an agreement that the lands between Delaware River and the Susquehanna River could be used by the Europeans. There is a bronze tablet recording this event in the preserve. William Penn's Charter of Privileges drew Welsh Baptist settlers, including John Evans Sr., to the area with the promise of religious freedom and the right to participate in their own governance. The Welsh Baptists and John Evans first came into the area around 1700. At that time, there were no roads, just a lot of trees and Indian trails. John Evans Sr. founded the Welsh Baptist community in the early 1700s, which later became London Britton Township in 1725. This reflects a distinct exploration and settlement pattern related to the freedom of religion by the Welsh Baptists. Since neither the King of England nor William Penn had ever been to the New World, they had two different ideas of what the land grant encompassed. The dash lines on this map represent what the king gave to William Penn. William Penn, on the other hand, thought that he had access to the Chesapeake Bay and the Delaware River, which meant the southern border for Pennsylvania was down around Baltimore, Maryland, and the northern border was at the Canadian line. It took 240 years in the court system for the line to be settled, and today we know it as the Mason-Dixon line. The Welsh Baptists began coming over in 1682 along with William Penn. Everybody would have to get off the boat in Newcastle before they would continue upstream to Philadelphia. The belief is some people stayed there and settled in New Castle County, Delaware. A lot of the Welsh Baptists went to Pennapack in northern Philadelphia, which was their first Baptist church, and then migrated down into Delaware to help form the Welsh Track Meeting House near Iron Hill in outside of Newark, Delaware. That's the route more than likely taken by John Evans, who then migrated north from there. Keep in mind, all this was happening in the late 1600s. You have to ask yourself, why would your family agree to move to the New World? The answer was kind of simple. The King of England was going to throw you in jail with your family if you didn't swear allegiance to the church. Since William Penn was a Quaker, he had gone to jail in the 1670s. Matter of fact, he was in the Tower of London because of his beliefs. Also, William Penn and Lord Baltimore, who was Catholic, were told that their claims were only good if the tenants swore loyalty to either party. Meanwhile, Lord Baltimore sent his sheriff to the northeast corner of Maryland to force families off the land if it were not granted by Lord Baltimore. This didn't stop at the border. It went on for decades. Since the Quakers did not bear arms, William Penn went to other religious groups to build a wall of landowners that were loyal to William Penn on his southern border. One of the first grants, penny acres, went to Welsh Baptists that included John Evans in 1700. This was immediately followed by another 30,000 acres in northwest Delaware that went to the Welsh Baptists. During the next 14 years, John Evans and family bought up numerous properties in the area looking for suitable water power that would support a mill. Finally, in 1714, John Evans found the White Clay Creek and bought 100 acres and realized that he could build a raceway from the western branch of the White Clay Creek to the main branch, and that would provide sufficient water power for his new mill. It is important to note that in the early 1700s, there was a great demand for flour in the West Indies. Also, John Evans' mill was only 12 miles from the shipping ports in Newcastle, Delaware. What more than likely began as a log cabin eventually became John Evans' house and his mill on the White Clay Creek. By 1725, the Welsh Baptist community had grown to the point that they formed the London Briton Township, and the John Evans family donated the land for their Baptist meeting house. This is the sexton's house, built in 1830. The sexton was the gravedigger and the maintainer of the graveyard. And now the current state of the John Evans house. We feel this place matters for the following reasons.